to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Well, hi everybody. Yeah, let's just get down to it.
Anybody having fun?
You just haven't had as much coffee as I have. I have had a lot of cappuccinos, okay?
Nobody has had as much coffee as Gates.
That's true, that's true. So...
You want to fill us in on what you've been up to?
Okay.
Tell us what's going on in the life of Gates McFadden.
Life of Gates.
Because I know you've been away. You were out of the country for a while.
Yes. But I've been back for a while.
You have been back for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is, you know, all under the heading of how I spent my summer vacation.
Well, I went to France for a few weeks. I love France. I have a place in France. A place that is like 800 years old. I restored it. It's nothing grand, but I just love it. It's in the great, you know, all the vineyards and everything, and it's really, really cool. It's in Languedoc, where the Templars were. So there's all these old chateaus, and you can go visit things and get access to these ruins that, you know, you can just walk up and walk around. It's really amazing that they don't have them all cordoned off. But then I've been back for quite a while, and we're gearing up at Ensemble Studio Theater Los Angeles, of which I'm artistic director.
Did you all know that Gates has her own theater company? Yes?
Well, the big news is that I'm directing Brent Spiner in something, and it's, I don't know if you know him. Next Gen, are you a Next Gen fan?
I love the Next Gen.
Okay, the guy who made the android.
Oh, Data!
Yes!
I love Data!
Oh, he's going to be good in this.
Yes!
Yeah, okay.
So you're working with Data?
I'm working with Data.
Nice.
I am. And he's playing, it's a new play by Steve Serpas. It'll be a world premiere October 4th. We're going to do, I think we're going to start with 4 performances. And he's playing a dying Frank Sinatra. And it's a very cool role for him, and there's another one, we have an incredible cast.
Brent Spiner is playing Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
A dying
Frank Sinatra. And Annika Marks, who was in the sessions with Helen Hunt, and she also just did the lead with Sharon Lawrence in another movie. She's a company member. She's in it as well. She's terrific. Ian Alda and Tracy Lay. And it's a really interesting, wonderful play. I hope you come and see it. Frank Sinatra has an encounter with different people. One of them is Monica Lewinsky. Yeah.
And what's it called, the play?
It's called The Last Look Back.
The Last Look Back.
And so anyway, that's one of the
things that is when?
Going on. That's going to be October 4th. And if you come around the table where we are, I have little postcards for it, and it would be wonderful if you supported our theater.
Who would love to support Gates's theater? Well, that's everybody.
Thank you. It's hard in the world of nonprofits to, nonprofit theater is pretty tough. That's why all of the stuff that I put up for auction in my trunk sale and stuff like, I'm going to just mention the communicator I wore in First Contact, my own communicator, coming off of the uniform, and in the auction today, I'm selling it, and all of it goes to the nonprofit. It goes directly there, and if you buy on the auction online, it all goes to support the theater. So, bless you if you do. Thank you very much. It's my passion. LeVar.
You're giving up your communicator?
I am. You know, I love theater that much.
Big. That's big.
I know.
I ain't giving up my communicator.
Okay. Well, no. Okay. All right.
I'm hanging on to that shit.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I mean, that's love. I mean, that's
love. That's love.
You are giving. Is that it over there?
That's it.
May I?
Yeah. I think it still works, LeVar. Try.
But you've got it under glass. I can't.
No, you can't do it. Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
No, nothing's happening.
It's under glass.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
When I touch it, I'm supposed to get a response.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, sell it now? No. Sell it now?
I bet you could auction it off in this room. I bet you could auction it off in this room. and get...
Yeah?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, okay.
Have you thought of a minimum? Have you thought of what
No.
the minimum? Where are you going to begin the bidding, Gates?
Gosh, I don't know. Where should I begin? I don't
Do I
know.
hear $100? 100? Yes? Do I hear 100 and a half? 100 and a half? 150? 150? Yes? Yes? Do I hear $200? Yes, 2. I have 2. Do I get 3? 3. That you sir? 3. 3. Do I get 350? 350?
Whoa.
What?
Who had their hands up? I don't even, how do you see it down
I
there?
baby, this is what I do. I'm Jordy. Shit. If you don't mind, I'd like to get back to work.
I'll buy it for $350. Okay.
So I had 3. Where are you, sir, with 3? There you are. 3. Do I have 3 and a half? 3 and a half. 4. 4 right here in the front. Do I have 450? 450 where? 450. 5. Anybody? $500. $500. $500. 5. 5 down here in the front. Help me out, Gates. You got a spot.
Okay.
How about $575? $500 in the front. 575. 575. 575, sir. Do I have 6? 650. 650.
Wait, hands
650. Do I have 650?
Gotta be more than that, folks. Come on, 650.
650. 650. What's the 650? Do I have 7? $700. 750. Do I hear 8?
800. Come on, 800. It's for the theater. It's not. It's there.
$800. Thank you. Do we have? Wait a minute. That's $800. Give the woman a round of applause. Where are you, man? Where's my $800? Where are you? There you go. There you go.
Love you.
We have $800. Who's up for $850? $850. Do I hear 9? Do we have 9? Right there. There she goes. 9. 950. Do I have it right here? Do I have it right here at 950?
I'm getting excited.
Do I have a 950? Do I have a 950? 950 right over here. $1,000. We're up to 1,000.
Stand up if you were up.
Who's got the $1,000? We have
Who's got $1,000?
$1,000. $1,050. We have $1,050.
I think it's
We have $1,050 going once.
going once. Okay, all right, who's there?
Say what?
1075. Stand up, please.
1075.
All right.
1075.
Where are we?
$1,100. $1,100. We got $1,100 for Gates' communicator. She's doing an interpretive dance about how she feels in this very moment. We have $1,100 once, $1,100 twice, $1,150. $1,150. That's my $800 woman, isn't it? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. $1,150. $1,150. $1,200. $1,200. Right? You got a tap dancing, y'all. $1,200. $1,250. Ladies and gentlemen, this has become a really exciting pissing contest. This is Gates has the ability to take your plastic as well as...
And I have the ability to take everyone's wallet too.
Are you serious? $1,400? Ladies and gentlemen, $1,400! $1,400 once, $1,500. 1,600. Gates is about to start stripping. Come on, baby. Come on, mama. Yeah, you know what you gotta do, girl. We got 2,000 once, $2,000 twice, $2,000, $2,100. Well, that's amazing.
Wow, did you do a two-parter with me?
Of anything?
No, Voyager, did you do?
No, one.
Was there a lot? There wasn't a lot, right?
No, I died very quickly. In your arms, I must say. Which wasn't so bad.
I appreciated you bringing your son up last year and doing a little rendition of Legend of Zelda on his ocarina.
When he was 5.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He would have come if I would have told him he could come up on stage again, but I said, oh no, honey. It was good the first time. Everybody was good with that, but they don't.
Thank you.
Thank you. He wants to cut me off. I'm teasing you. But yeah, he really wanted to come, I'm telling you. He's at a Sonic convention right now, and I made him a dark supersonic costume. I did such a good job. Thank you. And, oh, thank you. I worked 2 days straight on it, and I'm like this, okay, mommy's losing her patience. She's making this for you. Like I'm a third person. But seriously, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get these shoes right. I'm getting the shoes right. I'm a cobbler. I can do that. Daniel Day-Lewis can become a cobbler, so can I. He looked really, he's sporting a good look, and I want him to win today. And then I was thinking, you know, I need to make a costume for here to go into that, you know, world record thing, right? Why shouldn't we be going in there with you guys? My gosh, numbers are numbers, right? Yeah. So this isn't technically red, but next year I want to work on a costume because it didn't occur to me until I was knee deep in, you know, Dark Sonic. It's really not the same world at all. No. So I need to work on my own, whatever that is. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to go back to the original series to get ideas. Right? So the next time I come to Vegas, you guys got to all be with me. I want to see costumes on every single person, and we're going to go make that number be crazy high. Right? No one's going to beat us. Because we're it. We are the original Star Trek convention. Thank you very much. Okay, no, you didn't sound that excited, really. Yeah! Motherfucker! That's more like it.
So I have so many questions I want to ask you. Do you want to pick a number 1 through 4? 3.
It's a magic number.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Did you keep
A man and a woman had a little baby. They did. They had 3 in the family. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. You were saying?
Did you keep any really cool props from the show, or do you have anything?
No.
That must have been hard not to take anything home.
Well, I didn't steal anything, but people were very generous to me.
Okay.
I have my little Love Idol tiki thing from the episode where we went to Riza, and I got to do that awesome clay thing with the beautiful and talented Vanessa Williams. I know all the guys are jealous of me when I had my legs wrapped around her. And the guys gave it to me, the prop guys, because
Because I was the only one that wasn't married. I think they felt bad for me. They didn't feel bad for Michael Dorn, but they felt, you know, they wanted to send me a little luck. Because again, he was all over the place. Oh no, are you going to tell me? Oh. It's getting to be that time of my life. Just emotional. Your question. Sorry, say it again.
You already answered it. Do you want me to ask another one?
No, I didn't. I need to remember what you asked.
Oh,
I got off on my own tangent.
If you have
So I guess I do have your
anything
personality.
from the show.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. The tiki torch, and when I left, I got a Christmas present I wasn't supposed to open until I got home. When I got home, it was my batleth. Yes. So I love my prop masters. They're really wonderful. And I kept my very first pair of shoes. I asked Bob Blackman if I could have them, and he said yes. I mean, they're not going to fit anyone else. All our shoes were handmade. Yeah.
I thought they were comfortable.
They were. Mine were the flattest ones in Starfleet. I think Nana's are the highest. I think she even has Marina Phil B. Thank you.
Now, I'd like to ask you a question. You've asked me a million questions.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a rather important
Hopefully the audience is interested in your question.
You're very identified with and as Captain Kirk. True or false, ladies and gentlemen? Right? And have been since you were how old?
12. Very young captain. 30.
You were 30.
Something.
It shaped, from my point of view, I've watched you. It shaped a great part of your life. That part.
Yes.
All right? And you went to do the movies and you went on and you went. What if that had not happened? Let's say you had not been cast as Captain Kirk. How do you imagine your life would have unfolded? Be honest. Be honest.
I'm nothing but honest.
Or at least those Dobermans. Go on.
What would have happened? Well, we don't know. We don't know, having taken the turn to the right, if we'd taken the turn to the left, what would have happened? We don't know. So you really can't give a succinct answer. If Captain Kirk hadn't happened, and the result of which my appearing in front of all you people here this afternoon, that's the end result. Maybe the following day when I turned down Star Trek, a giant movie was offered to me. I became a huge movie star. I was making movies in those days. Maybe that wouldn't have happened, Star Trek wouldn't have happened, and I would have nose-dived into obscurity.
Regional theater.
Yeah, into regional theater. And tried to make a living as an actor, eke out a living as an actor.
But you're saying the
as so
thing
many
that
of
is
our
most
friends have.
important to me. You believe that you would have been an actor, notwithstanding.
Well, that's what I was skillful at. And there comes a point, Kate, as you well know, and this is really for the elucidation of the audience, there comes a point, maybe in your early 30s, when, whether you're an actor or an accountant, where you have to make a decision to stay with what you're doing, or you have just enough time to start something else. But somewhere in your 30s, you're localized into what you're doing. The dreams of the 20s become the result in your 30s, and these are sort of passages. Doesn't have to happen in that way, but mostly it does. Dreams of the 20s, work in your 30s, result in your 40s. Those are the passages of time, which, by the way, the watch that I'm designing is called Passages.
Case in point.
Oh my gosh, I really missed working, so here I am, working. Although I went to my parents' room this morning and I thought, oh goodness, I look like I'm actually working. You know, 9 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. Felt like I looked like a little secretary, a little too, you know, that feels good.
And now my question is, are there dolphins on the Enterprise?
In the holodeck.
because I heard that there might have been, but then they took them out. So I just wanted to know, do you remember that ever happening? And B, are there dolphins?
I had a dolphin in my aquarium in my room.
On the Enterprise?
The Enterprise.
That must be the dolphin that Jordan was referring to.
All right.
The one that was in Beverly's quarters.
Oh, so you took the Ferengi to Beverly's quarters then?
That's where the dolphin was.
Is that what they call it in the future?
Say it again?
Is that what the kids are calling it in the future these days?
Going to see the dolphins. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, you guys.
You're most welcome.
That was awesome.
I'm writing a book on why people over the age of 55 have difficulty getting hired. Well, the reason why is because they need more, and employers are less likely to hire somebody who wants more money than somebody just coming out of school. But what is one of the solutions? And one of the solutions is the title to the book, Hire Yourself. And I'm writing the book.
But this is truly one of the great men of the theater. Do you all know it? Yes, it is. And was absolutely brilliant in cabaret, wasn't it?
So, you were up for cabaret?
I was up to see it. No, I wasn't up for cabaret. You were cabaret. You were Mr. Cabaret. No, I'm merely commenting on the fact that, you know, after so many years of life, our memory of the past tends to fade. In my case, memory of the present tends to fade as well. But I've never forgotten that moment on the snowy streets of Montreal, being introduced to you.
I think I was probably 18.
No, you were very young. You had to be, because it was all those years ago. I was at university, and I don't know how old you are, but we've got to be around the same. And so you were a young entertainer. I don't know, where did you start out?
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah. I was a 9-year-old actor in Cleveland, Ohio, and I had a great part for the first role that I ever got in a play called On Borrowed Time, in which I had this arc. I was funny, and then I fell out of a tree and I broke my back, and I was dying, and then Mr. Brink, who was this character about death, took me to death, and then the last scene, and I heard the audience weeping and laughing and everything, and I was 9, and then I was reborn. And I thought to myself, I think I want to do this. I thought that was a really exciting experience to be able to talk about life and death at the age of 9, and it changed my life, and luckily I'm going to direct that play this year.
Okay, you.
Last episode, Deep Space Nine, when Vic is doing the song and the piece falls off the table, you know, how did the cast handle that? Because that must have been really emotional. You know, Vic's doing his song and then...
The very last episode of the series?
Yes.
I did not see it. I have to tell you. I was dead.
Right. There was still part.
Well, no, here's the thing. It was very, well, actually, I had this, this is going to bring me to another story, but I'll come back to that because I wasn't there, so I don't know. Do you want to think about another question? But I'll tell you this. I had the most amazing conversation with Ira Bear yesterday in the afternoon. We were both sobbing. We both had a huge cathartic moment because we could have fixed what wasn't working, but we didn't know. He didn't know I needed him, and he didn't know. And anyway, Rick Berman is still the bad guy.
Farrell.
It could have been solved, and I'm telling you, we were both gutted and relieved at the same time. Like, the love was just like, psh. So I'm still spinning from that realization that it wasn't, the people that love me didn't realize they needed to stick up for me. Isn't that crazy? And I didn't realize that those were people that loved me because I thought they were on the same side as Rick Berman.
Yeah, the other question was, when you were married to Michael, what was it working with him?
When Dash was married to Worf, because I was going to say, I wouldn't marry him. You know, no, he's a wonderful man, but the truth is he's a giant flirt, and I just am too insecure to deal with that. You know, there was one day I was really considering it, me, Terry Farrell, and I ran into, everyone I ran into, I swear to God, it was like the craziest thing, told me how Michael hit on them. By the end of the day, I was done. I hadn't even seen him. But seriously, well, I can't, everywhere I went, I can't tell you who, because we would figure out who they are and just be like, gross, really? I mean, there were pretty ladies, it's not that. It's just like, Michael, rein it in, buddy.
Now, here's another question, also tough, but I want to ask you because, first of all, I'm very fond of you. I think you're deeply honest, but I also think you're multidimensional and slightly mysterious. So the question is this. Looking back now on your life as an actor, are you proud of the work you have done as an actor? Really proud? And if so, proudest of what?
That's an interesting question, that is, Kate, and it requires, you know, every actor should answer that question, every actor with some experience, because as you lead your life, you're torn by things you have to do as against things you want to do. You have to compromise in life with everything, whether it's a relationship or a job or an automobile or a house. There's always some compromise involved. As an actor, I've had to compromise several times with what I thought wasn't particularly good because of it paid either well or paid at all, because I had to make the rent and pay for the 3 children. There were compromises involved. So there is a fair amount of stuff that I wish I hadn't done, but I know why I didn't. And so, in answer to your question, no. There are things that I'm not proud of. On the other hand, there are things I am proud of. Like talking to you.
My question is for you, because orange is the new black. Seriously, my obsession. I love Star Trek Voyager, and that will always be first, but orange is the new black, oh my god. I watched all of like the entire season in a day and a half, and I was like a walking zombie at work, and I didn't care. So my question, if you can answer it, if you can, but is what can we expect from Red for season 2? Because your hair is kind of a different color. So I'm expecting some pretty epic changes for Red.
Yes, but then I would be giving you spoilers, wouldn't I? The hair is different, that's true. A lot of shit is going to come down. You know, she's a wonderful character. And she is deeply human. This is what I love more than anything. Janeway was human too, but she was so... Janeway was better, do you know what I mean? She was an excellent human being. Red is just trying to survive with her soul intact. So I think this season you're going to find out about why she's in this facility and has been for 12, now 13 years. Where are her sons? Where is her beloved husband? And what were those bags filled with that were put into my deep freezer? You can only guess that, right? I think it's going to be an electrifyingly good season. We're already back at it for 3 weeks. I'm so delighted that you like it. because she's in so many ways the opposite of Janeway. And this is a Star Trek convention, you know, and I wouldn't think, the imagination goes in a different place for Orange is the New Black. And the fact that you can embrace both makes me very happy, so thank you for that question.
How many hours have you made?
We shot 13 of the first episode, and now 2 episodes of the second season.
And all 15 have played on what?
Netflix. It's on Netflix. So you have to buy the little box. I think it's called... Janeway would know this, but I don't. It's the Apple TV box, right?
You can watch it online.
Yeah. It's on the internet.
How do you know?
I told you Janeway would know. Janeway would know. Well, I bought the box. Pardon the expression. I bought the box.
I would think so.
And somebody plugged it in, and now I just get it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Miss Farrell, I hope you don't mind me saying you look absolutely amazing.
I don't mind at all. You can say it again. Thank you. Just stay over there. I don't want the tape and the mirrors to fall.
Anyway, I remember reading an interview that you did a couple of years back, where you were talking about how happy you were being a mother. You were talking about your life after DS9. And you also said that, well, now that I'm 40-something years old, you know, I could totally go back and I could play Dax better than I actually played it before. And, you know, I've been watching my DVDs. I mean, your portrayal of Dax was just great. I was just wondering,
Oh,
you know,
thank you. That's so nice of you to say.
So, you know, if you could play Dax better, I was wondering what, you know, your version of better would look like if you were to go back and play her again.
Well, I feel like my life experience, so it's kind of a hindsight 2020, with all of the nerves and being really overwhelmed when I first got the show. If I could start back again, and I'm sure most people can totally understand this, at the end of the story, if you could start back at the beginning and have the confidence you had by the end, it would have been better in the beginning. But that's true, I think, of everyone, because so much of the first couple of seasons is revealing. We're all discovering who the characters are. Not just you as an audience, but us as we create it. The actors, the writers need to get to know us. We need to get to know them. They need to see what works, what people like. So, yeah, like that. But I think that it was really nice when I talked to Ira yesterday. I did tell him I would be more than happy to reshoot the last season. And he said, don't tempt me. And I did, because I said, I have this great idea. I think that Worf should come up with my hair, like hair in my hairbrush, but because we're in whatever year it would be, sort of in the future, that might be a good place to set it. Thank you. And you could, with the science advances of that time, Worf could have me cloned, and cloned not just how I was when I died, but a couple of years older, so I could play it. I think that stuck with Ira, I'm telling you. I told him I don't need to star in it, just so that we're like the couple over there, right? Like a little more than Keiko and Orion, maybe a little more active than that, but yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, we have 1 minute, which probably means we have 30 seconds right now. Oh my gosh, look at you, gorgeous thing. Can you reach the microphone?
So I was wondering, which was the hardest episode to film in Deep Space Nine?
That's a good question, and I love your costume.
Thanks.
Can you let her up? I want everyone to see how cute she is. Okay, imagine me as a child. I, of course, was never this short, but... Yes, they gave her a mic, too. Wow. The most difficult one to film was anything that we did outside with lights in Vasquez Rocks when it was 115 to 120 and I had my wool thing underneath my big dome and those big boobs they put on me and my pantyhose and the wool. Is it too much information? A little? And the uniform was still wool, I think, at that point. So I'm wearing all black. My hair's black, and I'm covered in wool. And spandex, pantyhose. Your generation won't even know about those. Oh my gosh, yeah. The heat was not my friend. And I was really freaked out because my face was going through a pigmentation disorder thing, which was absolutely no fun at all. Now I'm old enough, I don't think I can soak up. My melanin in my face doesn't work anymore. Melanin in my face. Wow. That was some bad writing. It was very nice to meet you, Naomi. Thank you for coming up to say hi to me.
2 weeks before my father died, we had our last cocktail together, which, as you can imagine, must have been a hell of a thing for me. I loved my father, and he was a fascinating creature to me. And there I was, knowing that any minute this guy was going to die. I said, "Dad, how are you feeling, knowing that your demise is imminent?" And he said, "Well, I don't fear death, but I don't welcome it either." So let me ask you this, because I ask myself all the time. Do you fear death? Do you think of death?
Constantly. I'm so totally aware of the luck I've had being healthy. I'm so totally aware of how limited the time I have left on earth. I'm so frightened of what is beyond. I'm so philosophical about knowing a minuscule about the cosmos and how it operates and how it evolves and how it explodes and dies and is renewed. So that in the giant picture, I philosophically think it's going to be all right. But in the minutiae, not to be able to talk to you again, not to be able to touch my children and laugh with my grandchildren.
But you see, you just gave the best of all possible philosophical answers. It's not death you fear. It's missing life.
That's correct.
That's pretty damn good, right?
In addition to the release of Captain's Close Up, I finished a new album. And it's called Ponder the Mystery. And it may be the most creative thing I've ever done. And I did it in conjunction with a genius musician, and I don't use that word lightly. His name is Billy Sherwood, and the album is called Ponder the Mystery. And right now, a few moments, a few bars of Ponder the Mystery should be playing, and it's not. And that is, oh, it's going.
The stiff neck of arrogance and the bent bow of humility. Pondering the mystery. Peace in the world and the war of anxiety.
Here's Billy Sherwood, who wrote the music to my lyrics and then made the song. Billy. Billy Sherwood was connected again. And right now, he and I are having a fantasy which could be real. And that is coming to Las Vegas at some time, and your group and me making music in Las Vegas. Wouldn't that be something?
I
I had the honor to work with this man who I've been watching for years on screen and got a chance to meet him. He's an amazing guy, very sweet man. And when we began the creative process, we weren't sure what we were going to do. Bill presented an amazing set of lyrics, and I got very inspired from those lyrics and went and composed 60 minutes of music. And then we came together, and Bill speaks these phrases in the songs, and then I sing his lyrics in certain ways, and then we have guest artists like Al Di Meola, Steve Vai, Rick Wakeman from Yes, Vince Gill, all these amazing characters. And it makes for an amazing journey, and it is aptly titled Pond of the Mystery.
Well, when we first started, and the label,
Cleopatra Records.
Cleopatra, I do that. Cleopatra Records said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, and I had an inspiration, a flash. I said, I'll write music about a guy sitting on the beach, despondent, an hour before sunset. And as the sun sets and goes into night, he gradually regains his joy of life. Now, when you hear the music, you don't know the story, although it might be there if you look at it carefully. But the story served as inspiration for the lyrics. And we have a sort of complete album that has an attitude and a storyline, really.
Yeah, I've made a lot of records over the years with a lot of great artists. Been very blessed to do that. But I have to say this is one of the most unique and enjoyable and artistic things I've ever been involved with.
Wow.
So thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Billy Sherwood.
I heard that your character on Next Generation was originally conceived to be a gay character, and I've heard that too. I was just wondering, although I'm not personally gay, I was just wondering what your thoughts on that matter would have been and how that would have played out.
I've heard the same statement, but I've only heard it at conventions. I've never heard it from anyone who was ever connected with the show.
First of all, who are these little princesses?
They're aliens, and they've come for a visit.
You're darling species. What species are you? Oh, here's the dad. Shall we go with, yes sir, you?
Hello. Thank you both for coming to Vegas. It's awesome to see you both here. And my question is for Mr. Shatner. And Mr. Shatner, just want to let you know, Star Trek Memories was an awesome book. Thank you for that. It was almost 20 years ago when it hit the bookstores. But one of the most memorable passages in Star Trek Memories occurred in the closing pages, where you described your relationship with Gene Roddenberry as, quote, kind of lousy, distant, formal, and restrained, end quote. And I've always been curious to know what specific matters and specific subjects made things distant, formal, and restrained between you and Mr. Roddenberry.
Okay, so when we just talked about compromise, and there are certain compromises you've got to make in life, one of them is being totally honest about essentially a political situation where a lot of people are involved, and to be totally honest, totally revelatory, would be to expose other people to some distaste or harm, and I choose not to do that. But one of the aspects of Wacky Doodle, this Next Generation documentary, is several people talking about Gene Roddenberry, both good and bad. And so what I have come to realize is that Gene had many flaws, and some of them were aimed at me and Leonard and that original cast. There were moments that were not good, not nice. But overarching the total Star Trek heaven is this man who invented it from the beginning. And so, like every other human being, he was flawed. but his assets remain in front of us today. And that's what I would like to tell you. We met years and years ago on the streets of Montreal, and you have no recollection of this, but Brian McDonald was a fellow student. He was also a critic on the Gazette, which is a Montreal newspaper. You were coming to a nightclub. You must have been a child, following your father's footsteps, singing and dancing in that nightclub. The evening The evening you opened the Latin Quarter, Brian McDonald, you and I walked the cold streets of Montreal, exultant. I think we were exultant over your opening. You had to be a child who was...
Yeah, I was 11.
You were 11. And we met, and I never forgot you, because how brilliant you were in that, and how much more skilled you became over the years. You're the great song and dance man, who is a comic and an actor. You're everything. You're
so
show business.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My favorite thing about the Jadzia character over the years is that she's so free-spirited and spontaneous, while at the same time being very scientific and intelligent. And I wondered how you approached playing a character that diverse, and have you ever seen any Jadzia in yourself over the years?
Oh, yeah, because I'm not insane, right? So I can't actually jump out of my head, and I really wanted to be that actor, I did. But Gary Oldman already took that part. Yeah, I related to everything. I think that what was interesting to me when I kind of relaxed a little bit and didn't worry so much about the fine print of what I thought my description of my character was that I had to live up to, and dealing with one script at a time, with each episode one at a time, with those challenges just within the episode, that's when I gave myself a lot more freedom as an actor to just be more spontaneous. So it looks spontaneous, but it's just one day at a time. I didn't have to repeat unless they asked me to. So it was really great. Thank you. Yes.
Good morning. At the risk of sounding cheesy, thank you very much for the character of Jadzia Dax. She was a huge inspiration to me in a lot of ways. But my question is, when you...
Well, wait a minute. Tell me how I inspired you, because, duh, that's the juicy bit that we all want to know.
Well, it's a little bit complicated, but Jadzia Dax is a character with all of these different influences pulling on her, both from the symbiont and from her Klingon ties, and from Starfleet. And
a few lifetimes of good stuff.
With all of those influences, there's never any doubt in my mind that she's her own person. And she doesn't let anybody else dictate who she is, be they alive or dead. She takes the best parts and is who she wants to be.
I live to be her. That's great. I'm serious. That's the best part about playing Dax.
And my more specific nitty-gritty question is, how did you go about incorporating the Klingon aspects into Dax, where she started getting more badass and more, action-oriented?
Well, let me tell you something I started, because of Armin actually sent me, or Kitty Swing, Armin's wife, sent me to this place to go work out. And I wanted to take kickboxing for real, not just, Taebo, let's pretend we're doing it. I wanted to really kick a bag, just, really just get it, break my leg kicking that bag. So, I didn't break my leg. I have good bones. Thank you, Mom. But I did start taking kickboxing. And then I had an episode where LeVar called me Action Barbie, and I'm telling you something, I was never going back. I just stopped doing my kickboxing class in January because I twisted my knee doing a roundhouse, and that's my favorite kick, so I thought, I can't take the class anymore if I can't do the kick I love to do. That's so dramatic. It makes me feel like I'm, oh, what's his name, Lee. Thank you, Bruce Lee. Not Chuck Norris, honey, he doesn't even have his own hair.
The risk of repeating, I came up here to ask us about Orange is the New Black. I'm so sorry. I love you both, gentlemen, but I adore you, Kate, in this show. It's incredible, and if you haven't seen it, you should subscribe to Netflix today and watch it for your viewing pleasure. My question is, can you just talk about the artistic process that you go through to just discover this character, because she is so profoundly deep, and there's so many different levels, and it's complex and just beautiful. And also, how can I be in it?
You already are, my girl. You know, that's such a lovely question. I'm going to tell you the answer, and you're going to get it, because you get the series. Happiness. She just came. Red just came to me. There wasn't any of that fall around, no anxiety, not much preparation. A little thing about the Russian thing, because did they want it light, how many years had she been here, what was her back, who was, I didn't worry. She settled in a magical way, and I said yes. It so seldom happens, gentlemen, yes or no, in a career. Cabaret, right? That electrifyingly instant match. Yours would probably be Denny. That was a beautiful match too, wasn't it? Fabulous. And for me, it's this. But also because I can let go of everything that has, what's the word? That has so informed my career today. I don't have to worry about how I look. I don't have to worry about how I carry myself. That leading lady stuff is over. This is just who she is. Galina Reznikov. She's in prison. She's determined to survive. She's determined to survive as excellently as she can, running that kitchen. And she's going to do it with some degree of her soul intact. So that's what makes it liberating, joyful.
That sounds like you.
Oh, Joe.
How beautiful it is to hear an actor, in this case an actress, speak so passionately about the part they're playing.
I'm in heaven. I'm just in heaven. What else can I say? Did you not have that in cabaret?
I did.
So they know. But it's rare, ladies and gentlemen. It's so rare, isn't it?
Almost never.
And I loved Janeway. Loved her. But it was different. I didn't know her instantly. I had to love her. I had to grow. Did you feel that way about Kirk?
Absolutely. Well, everything. If you can play something over a period of time, you can grow it. You can feel it. You can get different nuances. If it's a comedy, for example, you can find new laughs. As the material becomes indigenous, you can find laughs where none existed before because you know the material, right?
And the behavior.
And the behavior. Yes, the behavior.
I am an actor. That's essentially what I am, and perform all the time and various things. But most things interest me. I'm curious about a lot of things, and so I've got strange things happening. I don't know how they happen, but they just seem to happen to me. For example, a friend of mine named Dal Blumberg is one of the great American sculptors now. He has a huge sculpting piece near Ground Zero. That of a soldier, a special operation soldier, riding an Afghan pony. It was an iconic picture of one of our special forces with a bandolier and a machine gun and a helmet and the whole uniform, riding a little Afghan pony down a hill pursuing the Afghan war. He made a statue of it, and it's standing right near Ground Zero at the moment. So Dow is one of the premier sculptors in the country, and he and I have been working on various sculptures. By that I mean he suggests something and I say, let's do it, and somehow fiddle around and we get it done. we began talking about the sculpting of a motorcycle. What a great idea, a motorcycle that would belong in the Museum of Modern Art that you could ride. And I'm a motorcycle rider. So we were working on that, and I was in Chicago 3-4 months ago, and I met a guy who said, we'd like to make you a motorcycle of his design. His company is called American Wrench, a rather prestigious motorcycle maker. So I said, well, wait a minute, I'll put you together with Dow Blumberg. So Dow and Dylan and I met in Lexington, Kentucky, had an afternoon in which we explored ideas on how to make Dow's sculpting into a motorcycle. They're working on it right now, and my plan would be to ride it either before the snow falls or after the snow falls, from Chicago to Los Angeles, stopping off in Las Vegas at a charity run and doing publicity for that bike in that manner. What an adventure.
Hi, Miss Farrell. Thanks for coming again.
Thank you. You look very handsome.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that. Tie. See that? Dressed up. Very respectful. Thank you, sir.
My question was...
Am I on that tie? I don't know. I can't see. Is that what you asked?
Next generation tie at the D-Space 9.
Oh, all right. That's the wrong show. We'll let it go this time.
My question was, over the course of the series, you participated in a lot of batleth battles, and I was wondering what kind of preparation you put into those scenes, and I also wanted to say I loved you in Hellraiser 3.
Thank you. Thank you. I love Hellraiser 3 compliments. Because 90% of it I had to loop my voice over, so I thought I could have been so much better if the sound people worked the days that I was working on the movie, because I didn't get good at syncing voice until maybe the 3rd season or 4th season on Deep Space. Yeah, I needed training. Anyway, wait, what did you ask me? Oh, love the batleth battles, and Dennis Malone, the stunt coordinator. Madeline? Madeline, thank you. Thank you, I recognize you. Yeah, well, honestly, it was easy because it was like he already had it choreographed. So I would just learn the routines, and you learn it in such a way that, well, at least for me, I thought it was really easy. And it was fun. I just loved doing it so much that if the whole series was about me having, I mean, I wanted to be the female Indiana Jones. I wanted to be Laura Croft. I thought that was like, you know, action, party.
Did you ever get injured during any of the stuff?
Sure. That's the fun part. You're like, dude, look what happened last week. I went to save my wife. And rejoin, remember when I went to go save her? I slid and I hit, oh my gosh, I hit the worst egg on my shin. And who remembers things like that? But people that are pussy can have that happen to them all the time, which means you have no fear doing stunts because you know you're going to get hurt. My husband knows sometime during the day I'm going to either cut myself, bruise myself, burn myself. Seriously. I just got hit by chiggers the other day. I love stunts. Love stunts. You can sit down, but I'm going to talk about these chiggers. They are nasty.
I was just going to say one more thing.
Is it a compliment?
You look great.
I know that there's been a lot written about Star Trek. There's documentaries, but there has to be some little anecdotes that you can share with us about something embarrassing, funny, pranks pulled on set. I'd love to hear.
You old guys always want to know the naughty stuff. And I can answer quickly, and then I'm going to give it to Bill because he'll have it, and Joel too. It's 95% naughty. The rest is what you see. True or false, Bill?
It's true. There was There was a edited hunk of film for 2 Christmas parties that was called the comic film that existed. What was it called? Bloopers. Bloopers. Bloopers came about that some of the outtakes of walking into the door, of hysterical laughter, of trying to deal with the gibberish that some of the language was, and the way the actors broke themselves and other actors up. So the editors would lifted some of that film up and played 10, 15 minutes of it for us at our Christmas party. In my show we had 2 Christmas parties, 3 seasons. And we had 2 editions of the blooper films. It was the blooper films that told me that there was something was happening with Star Trek, because 5, 6, 7 years later, after my show was canceled, somebody said, "Did you see yourself making a fool of yourself at a local bar, some skiing resort?" And I went down there, and they were playing the bloopers. 7 years after the cancellation of a series. And I was thinking, why would they do that? It's long, I've forgotten what it is. And it was the bloopers. And it was those silly moments that reminded us of how the hijinks that one necessitates playing 14, 18 hours a day on a soundstage.
You're exhausted, and it leads to that kind of hysteria, doesn't it? Yes, sweetheart.
Kate Milgrew, what is your favorite scene or line from the Star Trek Voyager series?
I know what you're talking about. You know that was that 15 years ago? 20. How many years has it been?
It's 18 years, Kate.
18. My favorite scene? I don't know. I can give her a million of them. I love the kiss in Counterpoint, because it's the only time I got to kiss. I kissed that divine actor, Mark Harlan. Do you know who he is? Oh, Bennett.
Mark Harlan is your mom?
Harlan. No, on the series. Bennett series.
Well, she knows. Gossip has reached that.
And I love my scene with Tim Russ at the end when he has Alzheimer's and I say goodbye. He's here today. Even every time I see him, he breaks my heart. He's so lovely. I loved it all. I loved so much of it. When those scenes were my stuff with John Delancey as Q in the bathtub, who would miss it? Oh, Bennett. Does that answer your question? Evidently, none of them were on the bridge.
You'll reveal anything, won't you? Take off your clothes. Take off your clothes. Take off your clothes.
Thank you.
You guys came into my office and said, "We're watchmakers. We'd like to design a watch." I said, "Let's do it." And right now we're working on a design of a watch which will have embedded in it either a small bit of the moon rock or rock from Mars. We're not quite sure which at the moment, but something that refers to space and the passage of time, and thusly science and science fiction.
Okay, chiggers, they are a nasty little creature. I've been all about my gardening this summer, and I'm telling you it was great because I lost a lot of weight doing it, so I'm very proud. Thank you. I told my son the secret to having a flat stomach is what my mother told me. Hold your stomach in. Don't do sit-ups, just always hold your stomach in. And he started to hold it while we were eating, and I said, but not while you're eating. It's not a good time. Anyway, these chiggers, I had them on my head, inner thighs, on my face, secrete a saliva in you that breaks down your tissue, and then they drink your flesh. Max found that out for me. It wasn't bad enough that it was disgusting looking. They're like blisters, and then they itch so bad you can't stop. You feel like you're watching Gary Oldman and watching him come down off of some drug when he was in Train Spotting or whatever that thing was 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop scratching. And then they're open, and it's horrible. I felt like I was one of those aliens from the original series that had the veins popping out of the heads. I remember that because that was the last time I ever ate those pork rinds. I'm from Iowa. And I was eating them and watching that episode, and I couldn't have pork rinds ever again. So forget the cheers, that was gross enough. LeVar came up to me and said that they wanted to make my character more roguish. And all that meant to me was getting to be more like that adventurer, the Indiana Jones part, that Lara Croft part of the bold explorer who's willing to, the hero who's willing to swing through the vines and get it done. So yeah, that made me feel great. And it was perfect because I'm so tall and everything too. It was just not something I had to really act out on, but just be. And I'm sort of silly and a tree climber anyway, so that makes it easy. And clearly I like to dig in the dirt because I get bit by chiggers.
But on a Broadway show, with all those pretty girls and funny people and yourself being a professional comic as well as everything else, wasn't there hijinks in preparing for the Broadway opening of, say, Cabaret?
Yeah, always, every day, somebody would do something stupid or outrageous.
Would you corpse?
And would sometimes end up in the show. If we were lucky.
The writers would say, keep that in.
Yes. Now, Joel, how are you on stage when somebody cracks you up? Can you recollect yourself, or do you? Is it bad? I'm bad. I lose it.
I'm bad. I'm very bad. I went to see a show with Nichols and May, and at the end of Act 1, they started to laugh at something that they weren't supposed to be laughing at. See how it works? And they could not get back to the script. And they kept taking a breath and turning around and whatever. It's a horrible feeling with 100,000 people.
What is that just overcomes us?
And then they brought the curtain down. And I was in the audience that night. And I remember we said, and of course the audience is laughing. It's very infectious. So the curtain goes up for them to continue. They broke up again. They never finished the show. That's painful.
I was in a play in New York, and something happened, I don't remember which. The actor was seated across the way from me. And something happened, and it was funny, and we both fought the laughter. I broke out into a cold sweat, and as we're both fighting the laughter, the sweat begins to trickle down. The audience sees the sweat. They don't see us laughing, but they see the sweat. And they start to laugh at the sweat. That finished us off.
I want to say that I probably speak for everybody. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. I'm so happy I'm here too. Honestly, you played my favorite character in the history of anything.
Me too. Me too.
And my question is, before you got involved in acting on Star Trek, what did you think of it? What did you think of Star Trek before you got involved with it?
My memory of Star Trek is having a crush on William Shatner before it was age appropriate for me to have a crush on a man that age. For me, it was Bill Shatner and, Paul Newman. Oh, God. I just thought, yeah, those guys are sexy. Yeah. And I've got Bill now. I love Bill. I just saw Bill. And I hugged him. And I wrapped my leg around him. He's been awfully nice to me. Yeah, so that's what I thought of it. And my mom and dad watched Next Gen. And yeah. And I didn't watch Next Gen because I was too busy trying to get a job. You know, sending Pinhead to hell, auditioning, things like that. But I became friends with Marina and Michael Dorn. Are you sick of this story? We had a mutual friend, and we went to a party, and she wanted to set me up with Michael. But Michael was there with a girlfriend, so immediately I'm like, ew, are you kidding me? No. So already that is the first ick I have on Michael Dorn. I hope she didn't tell him. I mean, I don't know if he knows that I knew that. Yikes, and I'm saying it right now. That's bad form. But at any rate, so, and Jonathan Frakes was on Paper Dolls, the very first series I did. He played Morgan Fairchild's assistant, which is like, oh my God, how cute is that? And he was skinny then. So skinny. Skinny and cute, and, you know, just like today. Just like today. Funny. Yeah, so I felt like I already, actually, the first 3 weeks I was working, I kept doing makeup and wardrobe tests and everything, and I was at the TNG set. So I felt like I was really ready to go work on their show. I felt like, wow, like I was just hired again for the first day when I walked out on the offset. First of all, it was enormous, and I'd never done stage. It was terrifying. I hated it. I did. Yeah, I couldn't get my lines right. But we all worked it out. You know, just you saw the show. But I really love those guys from TNJ. They're really awesome people.
I just did a play just a month ago. A new play called Somewhere Fun. Oh, thank you, all two of you who saw it. Three. And there, I have a 60-minute monologue that kicks it off. At which point, I have to call for the waiter, and that saves me because that allows me one breath, and I can then go on for the next 45 minutes. And he didn't show up. Waiter! Waiter! And of course, even 10 years ago, I would have panicked. This time, I just started to laugh. I said, I guess the waiter is gone somewhere else. It's no longer in the restaurant. And you just went, you're screaming. So, and then I just started to chorus, and I couldn't get it back. You know, and I think everybody knows and can appreciate that. Audiences are nothing if not sympathetic.
And yet they paid all that money for a ticket to see you do your thing.
They like to see our humanity more than anything. That's what the audience loves to see, the humanity. They really do.
I'd like to take the poll of that. All right, you paid, God knows how much money for your ticket, okay? You've come to see the play, which has been, you've read the reviews. Fabulous play. You must see this play. You're sitting in the audience, the curtain has barely gone up when the actor starts to laugh. Okay? Now, are you enjoying the laughter, or are you mad as hell that you've paid cold hard cash and all you can see is the upper bridge of the actor's mind? I'd like to take a poll. I'd like this applause where you're going to enjoy it. Applause.
In that same spirit, how would you feel, I want show of hands, if Captain Janeway, being invaded by an alien species, very dangerous, and she's shouting red alert, and she's going, red alert!
Okay, applause. Applause. You're not looking at it on television. You paid hard cash. You've just gone overdone. You spent the overtime money on the tickets. You've been scalped. Hold on a second. We got the applause for Janeway. All right, now, how about people who are mad as hell that she's laughing? Applause. You're right, I'm wrong.
So 20th reunion of Deep Space Nine tomorrow. Right? I saw Sid yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, Alexander. He's still my Sid. I call him Diggs. I was just so happy to see him. And they were being interviewed about Deep Space Nine, and it was so, I felt like I was a little kid when because I only hear this around my son and his friends being friends, talking about how this one's my friend and that one's my friend. You don't talk like that as adults. But when I got in there and someone was talking to him, he said, Terry and I were really friends. And it made me feel so good. I'm like, yeah, we were totally buddies. And it wasn't because we just had a nice working relationship. We really just genuinely liked each other. Like, he's the coolest guy ever. And I have not seen him since the finale party, when Deep Space Nine had their finale party for the series. And so that was, try not to cry there. So Ira was making fun of me. But I'm like, I haven't gotten interviewed yet. I don't want my makeup to run. But crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm having a little inward moment. Outward, people are watching.
Right into the microphone, so...
I think you still ride. You do still ride. Ride horses?
Me? I like horses, yes.
Yes. I guess you've been riding for a very long time?
Quite a long time.
I want to know...
Everything I've done has been quite a long time.
I wanted to know, how many times have you actually fallen off, and what's the worst injury you've had from falling off?
Oh, I've fallen off quite a bit. In fact, I'm off more times than I'm on.
2 questions from William Shatner. Tomorrow's my birthday. So
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, today and tomorrow are the same. Happy birthday.
Thank you,
I have no idea of the time, space, sex!
Star Trek, what's your favorite episodes? Season 1 through 3. Michael and Sarah, who passed away on the 31st of July. How'd you like working with them?
What? How do I like working with who?
Michael and Sarah.
Michael and Sarah?
Play Kane.
Yeah, no. I haven't heard the name Michael and Sarah in 30 years. He died. Michael and Sarah's dead? When did that happen?
July 31st.
Oh, I see. I love Michael and Sarah. He was one of the great men of our time, and I thought that he had nobility and ethic. He was an ethical, moral man who was a great actor. Michael and Sarah will be missed.
In addition to being a Star Trek fan, I'm also a Hellraiser fan as well. I was wondering if you had any stories from your time on the set with Doug Bradley and Tony Hickox.
Oh, with the, wow, all of the stuff we shot at night, I had bronchitis, and it was raining. So I would take NyQuil during the day, and not DayQuil during the night, but I took something else at night. I want to see if it was some kind of a, well, I don't know what it was, but it was something the nurse gave me. At any rate, and we didn't have, it was a low budget, it was a non-union low budget movie, so we didn't have trailers, we had chairs, and after, like, I think my 3rd chair back was stolen. They didn't give me another chair back. But I'm the one who stole the 3rd one because I thought, shit, those fuckers got the first 2. So it's in a trunk at my house. But seriously, that really ticked me off, although I was really kind of proud that everyone wanted to steal my chair. Yeah, so it was raining a lot, so we got this one, like tiny trailer that has nothing in it. One of those that look like a half, kind of a quarter of a circle. And me and all of the extras are squished in there, trying not to get wet. And we're all sick. And that's what all of those nighttime scenes, that was our reality, but it didn't look like it, did it? No. We were running for our lives. Just me and the extras. We made it. Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering, when you left the show, they eventually did an alternate universe. Did they ever think of calling you back? And then, did you have a fond memory of the show?
I don't think if I didn't have fond memories, I would be here, to tell you the truth. I loved every minute that I played Dax. I didn't always like going to work. I don't know anybody who likes to go every day to work, but I loved playing Dax, really. And when I played Reggie, it was really hard to be this really flawed person after I played this very huge, enigmatic, strong hero. To suddenly not be, thank you, to suddenly not be able to make a cup of coffee. So that was really hard transition. I also thought I was going to have a great time, like I was going to have less lines. But they changed their lines so many times before lunch even happens that I was dizzy before I even got home. And, oh my word, I would have taken technobabble over that. But anyway, yeah, I was sorry to be gone. I don't know what happened, why the clip didn't get into the very last episode. I know that Ira tried, and I know that I said yes. I said yes all year long because I'm the one who didn't pick up my new contract. I had no problem with that. So something happened, and they didn't get permission, but it wasn't because I didn't give it. So I don't know, where that piece of paper went. But I had no bad feelings for the writers or the actors. Just Rick Berman. Rick Berman. Say it for me. I think you get my point. Thank you.
Of course, like everyone, I love you guys. I think the reason why, especially for all three of you, why you remain so relevant. We love you so much. We have a body of work before Star Trek and a body of work after, and just excellent actors that continue to go on. My question, though, is for Kate Mulgrew and William Shatner. The two captains, I think, that in the entire universe are the most alike. Basic characteristics will do what they have to do for their crew no matter what, but very different people. One incredibly independent female woman, one incredibly masculine man. Very different ideas.
That's you. And I'm in touch with my feminine side.
Question: what would they do when they first meet each other, and/or who would be first mate and who would be captain?
Wow, good on you, baby. What?
I know what would happen.
Tell me your version. Lieutenant.
He would try to steal me off to my ready room, but it wouldn't happen.
What would happen?
What would happen?
What would happen?
I think we both know. You're famous. Captain Kirk was famous for his...
But what was your captain famous for?
Work, science, dedication, humanity, love, loyalty. Interplanetary, who cares? It's Captain Kirk.
There's a bottom and a top.
Love all you guys. Mr. Shatner, obviously you are an icon. You're always going to live on. My question is for Ms. Mulgrew.
So long, icon. What is your question?
First, I would like to also say that I started Orange is the New Black, and it is really good. I do enjoy your character a lot in there. Also love you on NTF, SD, SUV. You're hilarious on there. My God, you're hilarious. But about Star Trek, Captain Janeway was just a great character, like a very strong female lead. kind of something like Joss Whedon would probably create. And she kind of was like the mother of the crew and everything. So my thing was, what were you able to take away from that role as Captain Janeway? Like, because you always like speak of her so highly. So
the
like,
uniform,
what did you take away from
right?
I do speak of her highly. I love her. I took away 7 years that I'm proud of. Sounding a little bit like Patrick Stewart, but I don't care. I loved her spirit. I love the fact that she was brave when she was scared. And that she let them know it, but she overcame that. She always went for the top bar, even against her better instincts. And if anybody was dedicated to the Prime Directive, it was Janeway. But when it didn't work for Janeway. What worked for Janeway was connection. And what worked for Janeway was love. What worked for Kirk was sex.
And she was great in bed.
See what I mean?
Thank you so much, everybody.
Who's the blue chick?
The blue or
She's right there. Do you see her, the blue chick?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what species they are, but their antenna moves when they get like sexually excited.
Yeah?
They move.
That's so cool. He was like right here.
If you stroke their antenna, that's very erotic to them.
Oh, you want to go over there?
Bad. What you doing? Very nice. She's stroking your antennae.
Stroking it. Thank you. Things you humans do for fun.
You know, I do the same thing.
Suck it in?
No.